Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how you can make any 5K iMac faster in 5 easy steps. So step 1, we're going to upgrade the RAM. Alright, now it's time to install your RAM. To do this, you're going to lay the iMac down on a nice soft blanket face down. You're going to take your brand new RAM that you purchased, and you're going to have to open up the door on the back of the iMac. And to do that, you're going to have to push this button that's located right above where the power cable plugs in on the back of the iMac. And to do that, I'm using a butter knife, which sounds really barbaric. You can use a screwdriver, but this was just right next to me. You just need a sharp metal object to push that button down to gain access to the RAM. And as you're pushing, just get a feel for the pressure, and then you're going to be able to lift that door out. And the next step is to push these 2 tabs outward so that the RAM can be lifted up, and then you're able to install the RAM. When you have the RAM, make sure you line up the notch that's on the RAM module with the notch that's inside the iMac itself. Once you line that up, place the RAM in an open bay and push down, and you'll feel a substantial click as you push down. Most iMacs ship with 2 RAM positions open, and you're able to install that RAM. Push those levers back down and make sure they're firmly in place. And then you're able to put the door back on the back of the iMac, and you're all set. The next thing we're going to do is take the screen off so we can get inside the computer and take the hard drive out. So you're going to need this tool, which comes with the brand new adhesive kit. We're going to work our way around the screen to remove and separate it from the adhesive from the back of the aluminum. When you're using this tool, start on the corners and work your way down the side, and you'll hear the adhesive start to separate from the aluminum. And then when you come around the top, be careful as you get close to the eyesight camera at the top of the computer. There's enough clearance in this tool that should go around the eyesight camera, but just be extra careful as you work your way around. This little side is cool because then you can work a little more deeper around here to further separate the adhesive. But this side, you do want to be careful when you're around the eyesight camera. Next, you want to gently lift the screen up off of the iMac. And this is where you want to be careful because you've got 2 cables that connect into the motherboard from the screen. So you want to carefully lift this up, and then you want to disconnect these 2 cables in here. All right, there are 2 cables inside the iMac. One powers the display, one sends the signal. So this one powers it, this one sends the digital signal. So you flip up this little plastic tab to unlock the cable, and then the cable easily pulls out from the motherboard. So once that cable is out, you just simply give it a little tug and it's out. And same for the power cable. There are clips on the side, but don't worry about that. It easily pulls out, and now your display is free of the motherboard, and you've got these 2 cables, so you just have to gently leverage the display up and then pull the tabs on the adhesive on each side, and that allows you to separate the monitor from the aluminum chassis of the iMac, and it's very simple to do. don't be scared about it. And then you can quickly and easily lift it away from the rest of the iMac and set it face down on your soft blanket or whatever you have near you. The next thing you want to do is take all of this adhesive off. Best thing to do is just start scraping it with your fingernail. Don't use a knife or anything. And as soon as you get that started, it will just come up. So just work your way around on the whole iMac, and also be sure to take all of it off the screen. All right, now that the screen is off, you're able to get to the hard drive. To get the hard drive out, you need to loosen these screws that attach the speaker. And you're gonna use a T9 head to do that. And you just loosen those screws where the speaker is attached. And once you loosen these screws, you will be able to gently move the speaker to the side so that you can see the bracket screws that hold the hard drive down. And you're going to use that same T9 head to loosen these screws here to loosen that bracket. And be sure to pick those screws up with your fingers so they don't fall back into the chassis. And once you do that, it's really simple to just gently move the hard drive away from the other bracket. Then what you're able to do is pull the SATA cable and free the hard drive. And now that we've got that free, we're going to clone this hard drive onto an SSD. The next step is to clone this hard drive onto this SSD. To do this, I'm going to use this old Mac Pro from 2009. Don't let this computer fool you. It's been upgraded like crazy, and I actually use it quite often to do these upgrades. I use the top two bays here. I disconnect the drives up here and connect these two drives into those bays, and I'll show you how that works. But you don't have to do it this way. You can use external hard drive enclosures and connect those to a computer and do a duplication that way. All right, I've got the hard drives installed into the Mac Pro. I just booted it up and I'm going to use the cloning software. All right, so I have both drives in. I have the new drive here, Macintosh hard drive with 130 gigs of data on it, and the new SSD, which I cleverly called New Drive. So in this case, there's only 130 gigs used, so this shouldn't take too terribly long copying from the old drive to the SSD. Make sure you have the right drive selected, the one that you have your source files on, and the new drive that you're cloning to. Once the drive is cloned, you're able to reconnect the SATA cable to that new SSD. And before you seal the iMac back up, you want to test the screen and test the drive, make sure everything is working correctly. So it's good to reconnect the screen, power cable, and the connector for the digital connection to the display. And just gently lay the screen back down, plug it in and turn it on, and make sure your SSD works. And in this case, my cloned drive works great. This is exciting, and now you can move on to the next step. So at this point, you want to make sure your hard drive is secured. They do sell 3D printed cages for your drive, but I like to do it the old-fashioned way and use a little gaff tape. Just take a few pieces of gaff and secure your drive down. It looks kind of gimmicky, but it works. Now you want to lay your adhesive down, but before you lay it down and commit, you want to make sure everything matches up with the chassis. So it's good to just do a test and lay everything down before taking the backing off to see where all the strips are going to line up with the screen and with the iMac itself. After you do that, you could commit and start taking the one side off that attaches to the aluminum and start laying your adhesive down. Make sure you line up the holes around the iSight camera and the edges of the display. And these strips at the bottom, there's a little tab like before when you pull it off that you want to lay not all the way to the edge, but you want to line that up. And then you want to connect the display back and do another test. Don't take the backing off the other side yet. You just want to connect everything and do one more test to make sure everything boots up, that the display is connected before you commit to the adhesive on the other side. Once you know everything's working great, you can lift the display back up and remove the adhesive on that side. Take your time and get help. In this case, my wife's helping me, and we're working together to make sure we line up the display. So you want to line up the display at the bottom. So there we go. We have the iMac all buttoned back up, running perfectly. Hard drive works great. It's much faster with more RAM and a faster SSD in it. Thank you so much for watching this video. You can subscribe to my channel here, or you can watch another video right here.